Hey friends, and welcome back to Deep Dive. Have you ever had a memory, one you'd swear was real, but something about it just felt off, a detail that didn't quite fit? Now, imagine a technology that could not just alter a memory, but could begin to reshape reality itself. Today, we're talking about artificial intelligence, but not in the way you might think. We're going to explore how this technology is quietly starting to edit our past, our memories, and even our innermost thoughts. And this isn't science fiction. It's happening right now. The story begins with a photograph, an old iconic image of the French singer France Gall. Someone using AI decided to restore this photo for her Wikimedia page. But this wasn't just a touch-up. The image was straightened. A background that didn't exist in the original was invented by the AI. Watermarks vanished, the resolution was boosted, and the features on her face, her hair, it was all smoothed out, perfected. She looked flawless, almost dreamlike. But this single act sparked a huge debate. On one side, people said, "This is incredible. We're making a historical document better, more accessible for today's audience." But on the other side, there was a sense of dread. They argued, "You've altered history. A historical document is valuable because of its imperfections. The moment we start perfecting the past, where does the line between truth and fiction even exist?" This question leads us somewhere much deeper. How do AI models even remember? Let's take a quick trip to ancient Greece. Great orators had a technique called the memory palace. To memorize a long speech, they would mentally construct a vast, detailed palace in their minds. Then, they would place each part of their speech as a vivid object or image in a different room. During the speech, all they had to do was mentally walk through this palace, and seeing each object would trigger the next part of their talk. Well, AI has its own kind of memory palace. An infinitely large, impossibly complex one called the latent space. When we give it a command, the AI wanders through this sprawling galaxy of data, finding connections between similar ideas, images, and concepts to create or recall what we asked for. This means AI is becoming more than just a tool. It's evolving into a new kind of collective memory for humanity, one that is digital, vast, and dangerously editable. So that's our collective past. But what about our own personal memories? This is where the story takes a darker turn. For decades, psychologists have known just how fragile our memory is. In one famous experiment, researchers showed people a video of a car accident. They asked one group about how fast were the cars going when they hit each other. They asked a second group the same question, but changed just one word, about how fast were the cars going when they smashed into each other. The results were astonishing. The smashed group not only estimated a much higher speed, but a week later, many of them falsely remembered seeing broken glass at the scene. Glass that was never there. A single word planted a false memory. Now, add artificial intelligence to this fragile system. It's like pouring gasoline on a fire. New studies show that when we're exposed to AI-generated or edited images and videos, the likelihood of forming false memories skyrockets. But something even more insidious happens. It dramatically boosts our confidence in those false memories. So you're not just wrong, you are confidently wrong, which makes it nearly impossible to correct. And what's more, younger people seem to be the most vulnerable to this kind of memory manipulation. And the story goes even deeper than that. It goes to the point where AI steps out of the digital world and knocks on the door of our own minds. Right now, scientists are using advanced AI models to decode our brain activity from fMRI scans. In a way, they are learning to read our thoughts. They can look at your brain scan and predict with startling accuracy what image you're looking at or what concept you're thinking about. And in even more stunning experiments on mice, scientists have used a technique called optogenetics to shine light on specific neurons and directly implant artificial memories into their brains. This is the stuff of science fiction made real. Of course, in humans, the focus is mostly on therapeutic uses, like creating brain-computer interfaces to help people who have lost their memory. But these advances have sparked a new movement for what are being called Neurorights. Proponents argue that just as we have human rights, we now need to fight for our mental rights, the right to mental privacy, the right to freedom of thought, the right to protect our very sense of self from technologies that can directly access, and one day maybe even alter our brains. And don't think this is just for some far-off future lab. Consumer neurotech headsets are on the market today, claiming to track your focus or stress levels. But it begs the question, what happens to that data? The most intimate data that exists, the patterns of your own brain. Who owns it? And what could they do with it? All of this leads us to a monumental crossroads. What does our future with AI actually look like? Experts are divided into two main camps. The first camp is worried about de-skilling. They argue that just like calculators weakened our ability to do mental math, over-reliance on AI could erode our ability to think critically, to solve problems, to be creative. We risk becoming passive consumers of information, slowly losing the mental muscles we've spent millennia developing. But the second camp sees a much brighter future. They talk about AI as a cognitive scaffold. The idea is that AI won't think for us, it will be a tool that helps us think better. A scaffold that allows us to build higher, to see connections we couldn't see before, freeing us from repetitive tasks so we can focus on the truly human work of creativity and discovery. And looming over all of this is the ultimate philosophical question. Will these machines ever become truly conscious? Will they develop a genuine awareness? Or will they always be nothing more than incredibly sophisticated mimics, reflecting our own intelligence back at us? No one knows the answer. But either possibility carries a profound weight. The future isn't written yet. It's being forged by the choices we make today. We are deciding, right now, how this powerful technology will shape us. Will we use it as a scaffold to elevate humanity, or will we allow it to slowly chip away at the skills, the memories, and the very identity that makes us who we are? This conversation is just beginning, and every single one of us has a part to play in it. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. If you enjoyed this video and our style of storytelling, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next exploration. We have a whole library of other mind-bending stories I think you'll love, so feel free to check those out. Until next time, take care of yourselves and your thoughts.